Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Simone in Bahou. 10 years ago, I posed the question, have you ever said to yourself, I don't know why I said that, or I don't know why I did that? The answer today is still the same as it was back then, and the doorway to end your own personal suffering and the insanity of war, like what's going on in Afghanistan. I'm going to explain how this happens unbeknownst to you in this video and the videos to come, so please subscribe. There is much work to do, and keep in mind that what you are about to hear is not for the lazy or for the complacent. It is time to stop the madness. Throughout man's history, we have needed to have a stronghold on something. These strongholds can be unbeknownst to us, meaning we never made a conscious choice to associate with them. Any stronghold is an egotistical difference or indifference with something of insignificance or significance that we are in a sense willing to die for. It does not matter what this stronghold is. It can be something simple like a professional sports team or something much more indoctrinating like our individual race, religious or spiritual orientation, or our profession. In simplicity, a stronghold is anything that I believe is better than you, as in me versus you. While we are busy being better than another, at some point or stage, we're ultimately confined to the energy of one day it will be over, meaning my life. This is where we succumb or sell out into, that's just the way it is here. The result of this reality becomes I must begin to prepare for senescence. In other words, we begin to save to retire and die. This can be a point of midlife crisis, but it does not have to. From this perspective of life, some choose to immerse themselves in church doctrine for salvation. If the church does not get you, something else will. Besides saving to retire and die, you may also take on an addiction as a means of coping with this ending, like gambling, sex, food, drugs, or alcohol. If you're cunning, you may become a drama addict. Addiction does indeed have many faces. Any of the ways to cope with this ending keep us remarkably busy. If you've lost hope or simply give up because you feel there really is no point to any of it, sadly, suicide can be an alternative. In the end, it does not matter how you exit. It doesn't even matter if you choose to save to retire and die. What may matter is that you did the best you could despite all this, and in some way have a semblance of who you are, as in know thyself. The genesis of ego was to protect us from lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, or for that matter, dinosaurs. Initially, this simple energetic idea originated from thought energy to aid us for protection, preservation, and survival from the elements. As we are busy preparing for the finality of death, we are equally busy evading our fear of death, dying, and disease. Death, dying, and disease, our 3D reality as we know it, is the egotistical energy we have needed for humanity's survival. As this energy enabled our survival, it is also the thing that kills us. This ego energy is a dichotomy. This energy is the energetic cycle of life in 3D reality as we know it today. Cumulatively, this dichotomy is also the sole reason for our continual suffering and wars. How, you ask? It is the pettiness of me against you pertaining to anything big or small. It is life as we know it today and the reason why we do not know ourselves. As in, know thyself. I suppose you can stand on a street corner and denounce war with your best forthright display of egotism as a means to an end, or you can do something else. That something else is ascension. Ascension in this context, and my definition, is to aspire beyond the egotistical energy of significance or insignificance as it relates to difference or indifference. Or more simply stated, me versus you, to find me and you together. It is from this perspective of life that the Ten Commandments are no longer lofty. Me and you together, like easing into a warm bath, they just feel good. The initial premise here is to ask for ascension by conscious choice, and from this day forward, do your best to live a life of a predominantly positive intentional orientation, one day at a time. The moment you make this conscious choice by asking, it is done, meaning thy kingdom come, thy will be done. If you indulge in the lucrative and seductive energy of old days and ways, you experience suffering. This suffering is a barometer that can quickly redirect you back to your positive intentional orientation. This orientation is exclusive to you, your path, and your purpose, and does not require approval from anyone, including yourself. Every one of us came to experience the fruits of this physicality, and there is no exclusion to this egotistically or otherwise, meaning no one is here to experience anything less than this. The belief and resulting hierarchy and contrast only exist in 3D reality. This energy is pervasive, elusive, lucrative, seductive, and very confusing. Anytime you experience any of these energies, including confusion, you are at the effect of this egotistical energy of survival, or me versus you. Its once good intentional orientation for our survival has become lost in the dichotomy, and purposefully so. The only way to unravel this cycle of life to death is to ascend. We have unintentionally been keeping this cycle in place for protection we no longer need. Keep in mind, and this is what's important, this is what's systemic, and this is the root cause. It is time to take responsibility and stop the madness. It really is that simple. Again, please subscribe, and I will see you next week.